Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all having an amazing day today. In this video, I'm going to be doing my final review on KGF Chapter 1. I have finished watching the full movie of Chapter 1. I actually did a reaction on all of the parts of that movie, so if you haven't already seen it, you can check that out by clicking that. And also, after I actually finished doing that reaction, I wanted to re-watch the movie. This time I watched it in like the Hindi dub, so I don't have to like read subtitles while I'm watching, just so I can have a better understanding of what's going on. And I feel like re-watching it also kind of helps for me to kind of get like a better understanding of the movie, just because I am more focused on the movie instead of just focused on the movie and making reactions. And so I actually sat down with my whole family and we like watched that movie once again, and I think it's just really, after watching it again, I really realized like this movie is incredible. Like, it's actually so well made. In my opinion, like, it is probably one of the best Indian movies that I have ever seen. It's really good. What I really enjoyed about this movie was, first let's start by talking about the storyline. The storyline was very unique, very different. You don't really see storylines like this in movies that much. For me, I've never seen a storyline like this. It's very different, and that I think is so interesting, and it's very intriguing for the viewer to watch. I also very much enjoyed how it's got like that suspenseful kind of feel. So as you're watching the movie, you're just like left, like you're in suspense. You just want to know what's gonna happen next. You know, there is never a dull moment in the KGF Chapter 1, and I never actually, like, throughout that movie, I did not get bored at any part. Like, I was just like very like into it, and it was like, wow, this is huge. Like, it's so good. So I really enjoyed that part of like the storyline, you know, that like that suspenseful feel. Another thing that I very much liked, and a lot of you actually commented this in my comments, and you were saying how you get chills just by hearing the word KGF. You get chills. And at the first, like at the beginning, when I was actually starting off the movie, like I didn't really understand like what you guys meant by that, because I didn't really get chills in the beginning. But once we started like really picking it up, like the movie started like picking up, it started going very intense, and like it started to build up that such like an incredible storyline. And at that point, that is when I got chills, and it was like, this is incredible. Like, I actually got goosebumps. Like, it was so good. And I think the first scene where I really got goosebumps was probably the bun scene. Because at that scene, when I was watching that, it, like, I think the reason I got goosebumps in that scene was because of, like, the emotion that it gave off. Just, like, the dialogues that were spoken in that scene, the emotion that was given off in that scene, it was just so perfect. And at that point, I was just so, like, into the movie. It was like, wow, that is awesome. I also started, like, then later on, like in the movie, like the second half of the movie, when Rocky was actually at KGF, that is like when every single thing that happened gave you goosebumps, because it was just that intense. Like, it was intense, it was action-filled, it was suspenseful. It just really keeps you hooked to the movie, and I loved that. Let's also talk about the sets. The sets of the movie and like the overall backdrop of the movie and everything was very incredible. I actually recently did a reaction. If you haven't seen that, you can also check that out. I did a reaction on like the behind the scenes kind of the movie, and it showed like how much effort and work went into making those sets, making the movie itself, how many people contributed into making this incredible movie. And after watching that, it just made me realize, like, so much work and effort went into making this movie, and it really paid off because it's such an incredible movie. Like, you can see, like, every single aspect of that movie, it's like it's not missing anything. Like, every single thing is perfectly done, and you don't get bored, you don't like lose interest in any part of that movie. And I think that is something that I very enjoyed in while watching chapter 1, because it really just kept me hooked to the movie. I was never bored. The visuals were amazing. The sets, like, I know that they actually filmed at the Kohler Goldfields in India, and I think that is so cool that they actually went to the actual Kohler Goldfields to be able to make this movie, because it really builds that connection with the rest of, you know, the whole movie. Just the fact that you're filming in that area where this movie is based off of, that just overall makes it so much better. And I really like that. And the editing that they did was also awesome. I just loved how all like the scene transitions, every single line, every single like piece of that movie all fit together so well that it just leaves you like amazed. Like, I was so happy while watching that movie because of the cinematography that was in that movie. It was so good. Another thing that I really enjoyed in that movie was the fact that it's kind of like following the same storyline, but it also has like different things going on a little bit, where it kind of started with showing character development pretty much. You know, like in the beginning they showed Rocky being born, and then showing him as a kid, then showing him as like an adult working for another gang member, and then eventually going off on his own. It just shows like that character development, and that was, I think, something that really helps connect like the viewer to the character, like the main character. It makes you like have more interest in the main character because you know, you feel like you can actually, you personally know them, you know. And I think that's actually something that's also very incredible. And I also enjoyed how it wasn't just like serious throughout the movie. They had some like little bits of comedy in that movie, like especially like the love scenes where Rocky fell in love with that girl like at first, and he's drunk and he's trying to show off by fighting all these people, but he's just being like, he's really bad at flirting. But it's funny. It gives you that little bit of comic relief, and I think that's very important, especially when you have such a serious kind of movie going on that's suspenseful. You should have a little bit of comic relief in it, so your viewer doesn't get tired of all the seriousness. You also have some like some comedy in it, so you can feel a little like light as well. And I think that was also something that was very well done in that movie. And lastly, I want to talk about Rocky. The character Rocky is such an interesting kind of character. I don't like the creator of this movie really dug deep into making this character relatable, making this character like somebody that people will fall in love with. And I think that is incredible because they really put a lot of effort into making a character that is just so perfect that you just like, you love that character. And first of all, I want to say Yash did an incredible job making, like, portraying Rocky. He acted very well. He stayed, like, the way he created that character himself was so very well done. But Rocky as a character, I think, is so cool because he, like, it's just so incredible to see, like, his way of talking to people, like the lines he says when he says it, his way of thinking is just so special. It leaves you very amazed. Like, the dialogues that are said by Rocky in so many scenes, it leaves you just like shook. It's like, wow, where did that come from? Like, that's smart, that's genius. Like, where did you get that from? You know, he really knows what to say and when to say it, and he says it perfectly. movie, and I really enjoyed that about the character of Rocky. I also really loved the action scenes. Every scene where Rocky was fighting, he has different ways of fighting, which I also find very unique in this movie. You're not just left with like one kind of way of fighting, like, okay, this is just going to be like a gunfight, or this is going to be like a knife fight, or it's just going to be hands-on, like punching kind of fight. There's different ways of him fighting. He uses different kind of things as weapons, which I think is very interesting. You know, it really shows like they really put a lot of thought into how these fight scenes are going to be planned out, and they make it very, very interesting. I also, like, one of my favorite scenes in this movie as well was kind of, like, I loved all the scenes, but there's some specific scenes that I very much loved, and one of them is the patrol scene. And the reason is because it's such an interesting kind of scene, because it shows that Rocky, he's, like I said in my reaction when I was watching that patrol scene, he's not just a tough fighter, but he's a smart fighter. He knows that, like, if there's a lot of people, he doesn't want to waste his energy physically fighting them, he has different ways of defeating these people, and you can see that through the patrol scene, which I think is very amazing. But overall, I just want to say this movie was hands down amazing, and I am so, like, it's just so amazing to see such an incredible movie come out of like this industry. I'm gonna be honest, I never actually heard of Sandalwood before watching KGF, so it's just so incredible to see what like a high like hard-working and amazing industry the Sandalwood industry, film industry is, that they put in so much effort and they make such an incredible movie from it. I am speechless. It's like I don't usually watch like movies in different languages because you have to like read the subtitles, but for KGF, I think that it's special because when you're reading the subtitles, you still don't get bored. There's some movies where it's just like, okay, you want to read the subtitles, I don't want to do that, I'm bored. But for KGF, I didn't get bored, and I think that was awesome. Another thing that I found that really carried emotion throughout this movie was the songs, but like the specific kind of song. You know that like that specific song, I don't know what it's called, but it's like it plays throughout the movie at different areas. I really like that song because I feel like when you hear that song, you will automatically get chills. You think about the movie. That song is connected to this movie, and I really enjoy that song. So I overall just love this movie. But yeah, I'm so excited for chapter 2 to be released now. Like, I'm highly anticipating chapter 2, and I can't wait. Like, I'm just waiting for it to be released. Like, I want to watch it. I don't really know if it's gonna play in any of the theaters here, because they don't really play Indian movies that much in theaters where I live, but I would still love to watch that movie, and I'm gonna try to see if I can find it in theaters, but if I can't, then I'll definitely watch it online, because it's a movie that I really, really want to watch. Like, it's something that I'm very, very excited for. But yeah, I guess that brings me to the end of this video. I hope that you guys liked it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you all in my next video. Bye!